There's certain types of homes that you must avoid buying at all costs, especially here in Orlando in 2025. Look, I totally get it. The market is shifting and there are opportunities popping up all over the place. And it's pretty easy to get swept up in, shall we say, all the excitement about this. But here's the thing, some homes will look great on the surface and still become a money pit, a legal nightmare, or just a total daily regret. These homes may actually feel like a good idea in the moment when you're looking at them, but they can cost you thousands and thousands of dollars, not to mention the stress and the headaches that come with them. And since I usually have this conversation with my clients when I'm meeting with them on a one-on-one basis about these risky properties, I thought, why not save more people the trouble and create a video about this? So, if you're looking to buy in Orlando this year, or even just browsing around to look what's available, this is a video you just don't want to skip. So stay with me a little while and be patient. I'm sure that you will enjoy this and you will find it very useful. My name is Bent Danholm, and I am a real estate broker and owner of Maxim Realty Orlando and Maxim LLC. And I help home buyers in Orlando and basically all over Florida make smarter, more stress-free real estate decisions. So whether it's your first home or your next one or your 10th one, my goal is to help you skip all the costly mistakes and get into a home that actually fits your lifestyle and your future goals. So let's get to it. I'm going to walk you through five types of homes that you should stay away from here in Orlando this year. And you'll want to stick around to the end because some of the biggest red flags are the most hidden, and a few of them might actually surprise you. Things that you probably didn't think about when you started looking around. So, number one, I'm going to talk about is homes with major structural issues or homes that need extensive repairs. So let's start with the obvious one. And yet, even though it's so obvious, a lot of people ignore this. The fixer-uppers that are just too far gone. They have been stripped down to virtually the studs, or it's just so much wrong with them. I mean, don't get me wrong, a cosmetic fixer-upper can be a great opportunity, something that just needs paint, maybe new cabinets, flooring, or even some kitchen or bathroom upgrades. That can be totally manageable if you have a decent budget. But when we start talking about something like foundation problems, serious roof damage, termite eaten support beams, or maybe failing plumbing systems or outdated plumbing systems, that's where you probably need to hit the brakes unless you are a very experienced home flipper. In Orlando, especially, we have got a mix of older homes and built from the housing boom that weren't always made with, shall we say, longevity in mind. Add to that the humidity, the heavy rains, and sifting soils around here, and you have a recipe for long-term issues if you're not careful. So, if an inspection report starts throwing phrases at you like settling, moisture intrusion, non-functional HVAC, it's probably time to reconsider, or at least reconsider the price you want to pay. So unless you're buying it with a full rehab team and most likely a six-figure renovation budget, I would, in that case, just walk away. Number two, that people often overlook, especially if the price looks right, is properties in high-risk areas such as flood zones, wildfire zones, and sinkhole-prone regions. And believe it or not, we do have wildfires in Central Florida. They're not as common as they are some other places of the country, but we do have them. So let's talk about geography here, because where a home sits is just as important as how it looks. Maybe even more, because you cannot change where it is, you can change what it looks like. And like I said before, here in Central Florida, we not really that unfamiliar with heavy rains, flash floodings, and believe it or not, sinkholes as well. And there are neighborhoods in Orlando where homes are priced attractively low, and they're priced that way for a reason. So if you are seeing a property in a FEMA designated flood zone, then you have to know this. You are not just buying a home, you are buying a mandatory insurance policy, you are buying potential water damage risks, and you are also buying resale chances. There is a reason that some of these homes sit on the market for a long time, and there's a reason that they are as cheap as they are. And just something like flood insurance alone can cost you thousands of dollars a year, and that's on top of your regular homeowners insurance. And it doesn't even totally guarantee your protection. Add in the risk of your property value sinking, literally or maybe just figuratively, and you got a deal that is as nearly as nice as it originally looked on paper. So the same goes for wildfire-prone pockets near natural reserves or certain rural adjacent parts of the Orlando metro. So always do your due diligence on environmental risk before signing anything, or at least make sure you have adequate time during the inspection period to figure these things out, so you can pull out if it turns out it's too much for you or too much in general. So one of the things you definitely need to do is have your agent or yourself pull up the flood zone map. Also look for sinkhole claims in the property's history, and make sure that you ask your mortgage lender and your agent to confirm the insurance requirements before you actually fall in love with that brand new kitchen that looked like a steal at $250,000 for the home. Number three, something that a lot of people don't really think about, is homes with unresolved title, legal, or even zoning issues. This one is less visible and to some extent actually a lot more dangerous. So what we're talking about here is title problems, zoning violations, liens, open permits. These things will usually not show up on a walkthrough and maybe not even show up on the disclosures you're given, but they will show up when you're under contract, or sometimes even worse, after you bought the place. I have seen buyers lose thousands in escrow money and a lot of time and maybe a little bit of their sanity because the title wasn't clean, or the previous owner did a renovation that wasn't up to code. So in Orlando, especially in older neighborhoods like Conway or Pine Hills, you'll sometimes find properties that have some creative histories. These creative histories could include something like, say, previous owners adding rooms or converting garages without permits, maybe land use changes that doesn't show up in the listing, that or maybe they have changed the use of land without getting the approval. Inherited homes with multiple claimants or probate issues. So these are all problems that can be pretty tricky to handle along the way. So the key here is to make sure that your agent or you works with a how shall I put this, a rock solid title company, and that any offer you make is contingent on a clean paperwork. So don't skip this and don't rush it, because the moment you take ownership of that property, all those problems that before then was the previous owner's problems, they're now yours. Number four, properties in areas that are trending downward. This one is a little bit tough because emotions get involved, and sometimes the price just looks so good. But here's the actual truth: not every neighborhood in Orlando is going up in value. There are neighborhoods that are going down in value, there are neighborhoods that are in decline. There are pockets in the city and the surrounding area where schools are declining, where crime is rising, businesses are closing, and homes are sitting longer on the market. And the problem here is that for anti-discrimination reasons, your agents actually have a really tough time helping you with this. So this is something that you will need to investigate on your own. So Even if the house itself looks amazing, you have to consider what you could call the trajectory of the neighborhood. Now, this obviously doesn't mean that you have to buy in the most expensive zip codes to get a good investment, but it does mean that you need to do your homework. So, what you should ask yourself when you look at a home, and maybe ask yourself, are homes selling quickly nearby? Are property values trending upwards or flat? Or are there new developments or businesses moving in? Or is everybody moving out? Is everybody leaving this neighborhood? Because sometimes, I would even say a lot of the times, a low priced home is low priced for a reason. And if the neighborhood is going the wrong way, you're not just risking appreciation, you are actually risking getting stuck in that neighborhood, especially if you need to sell within the next 5 years. Because every declining neighborhood actually goes through a cycle, and at some point it will gentrify again. But if you're coming in at the time when the neighborhood is on the way down, you might be stuck there for a while. So don't just fall for that pretty granite countertop. Make sure that you also pay attention to what's happening outside the front door in the neighborhood itself. Number 5 is what I would call homes with obvious DIY upgrades. This is the last but definitely not the least of my 5 things to be aware of. The, what should we call them? Special projects that scream weekend warrior gone wild, somebody who's been watching too many DIY programs on the TV. These homes are often the trickiest because they might actually look decent on the surface, but the problems will arise later. So, what am I actually talking about here? Well, I'm talking about flooring that doesn't match from room to room, maybe even not laid properly. Electrical work that wasn't inspected, plumbing that was redone by someone's cousin who used to do this stuff at some point in their life, other little DIY problems. And we see this a lot in Orlando, especially in transitional neighborhoods or investor flips. And investor flips are sometimes the worst because they used to do cosmetic work and not really care too much about what's under the surface, what's under the hood, so to speak. Some are done really well, that's for sure, but others are just slapped together quickly to get pretty photos and a fast sale. So if you walk into a home and see suspicious choices like 4 different kinds of tile, maybe oddly placed light switches, or doors that don't really shut properly, maybe take a step back and rethink that home. And always make sure that you ask for permits and contractor info if major systems were updated. Because if you don't, you are at risk of inheriting a what we could call a series of very, very expensive puzzles. So those are the 5 types of homes that I strongly recommend that you steer clear of here in Orlando this year, especially anywhere, any year really. So let's do a quick recap about this. Obviously, number 1, homes with serious structural and repair issues. Properties in high-risk areas like flood zones, sinkhole regions, and even wildfire-prone areas. Homes with unresolved legal, title, or zoning problems. Homes in neighborhoods that are on the decline. And homes with what I would call questionable DIY upgrades. So I have a question for you now that you're watching this, if you're still with me. Have you personally ever walked away from a home because something just didn't feel right? Or you found out about an issue just in time? Or your agent found out about an issue? If you have, I would like to hear your story in the comments. I would like to hear what made you say, no way, this is not worth it. Also, if you like this video, maybe give it a thumbs up. If you like to learn more about Orlando, Central Florida real estate, or what's going on in our area and the real estate market, maybe follow this channel. I promise you'll be worth it. I upload videos regularly with what I believe to be really useful stuff. So follow the channel and hit that little notification bell. Because the thing with YouTube is you can follow as much as you like. If you don't hit the notification bell, YouTube will normally not notify you of new videos being uploaded. So if you are house hunting in Orlando right now, I would suggest you don't do it alone. I would be more than happy to help you navigate this sometimes a little bit tricky market, avoid all the traps that are around here, and make sure that you get into a home that's actually worth your time and money. So give me a call or drop a comment below if you want a totally free and no obligation, no pressure consultation about your next home purchase. I'm always available, and I'm also always very, very willing to just talk if you want to know more. So again, if you found it helpful, make sure that you hit the like button, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and click that little notification bell. And that way we can be certain that I see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye for now.
Hey, it's Bent Danholm, and listen, if you don't follow this channel, there's a good chance you'll never see me again. I consistently create helpful content for those who are currently in the real estate market. This information can be extremely helpful for your buying and selling needs, so be sure you like and subscribe here. And most importantly, leave a comment to let us know if this video was helpful for you. We're here to help the Central Florida community, and we always love your thoughts and questions. Follow now, and I'll see you with our next helpful video.